And joining us now is Oklahoma's State Attorney General, Gentner Drummond. Thank you so much, sir. Great to have you on the show. Experts on the death penalty say, quote, it's impossible to overstate how extraordinary it is that you have joined with defense attorneys calling on the Supreme Court to stop this execution.
Elizabeth, it is not extraordinary to be informed by the rule of law, and that's what we're doing here in Oklahoma. Oklahomans deserve to have absolute confidence in the death penalty, and here we have the state's key witness is an unreliable, compromised witness.
You've said if Glossip is executed, it would be a travesty of justice.
Yes, it would be. I mean, I've done my role, and that is elevating this to the Supreme Court. I believe that the state has confessed error, and Mr. Glossip is entitled to a new trial. Now, that is not to say that I believe him to be innocent. I believe him to be guilty, frankly. But I do believe that the integrity of the system requires that he have a new trial.
Glossip was convicted of murder for hire based solely on the testimony of the actual killer, Sneed, who said Glossip hired him to kill the victim. Was there no other evidence, no other testimony that implicated Glossip?
There's no other evidence that implicates Glossip. In this case, Mr. Sneed was charged with murder and was endorsed for the death penalty, and then he changed, decided to turn state's evidence and implicate Mr. Glossip in return for a plea that would give him prison without the right of any kind of parole. And now we have Mr. Glossip, who has been convicted of murder in the first degree and endorsed for the death penalty.
Wait, so how do you know that Sneed isn't just lying so he doesn't get the death penalty?
Well, that's certainly plausible. And I think that if the jurors had been given the facts that we now know were withheld from the defense attorney, that we would probably have a different verdict. Now, I think Mr. Glossip would have been adjudicated guilty, but I don't think he would have been endorsed for the death penalty.
The killer, Justin Sneed, was a meth addict. He had bipolar disorder. He was apparently given lithium. How do you think that all affects his credibility? We know that if you're in the middle of a manic episode and you're on meth, you're prone to delusions and hallucinations.
Right, certainly. I've tried 65 jury trials, 300 bench trials. Had I been the defense attorney and been given that information, I would have probably cross-examined Mr. Sneed and created some sort of reasonable doubt in the jury. That would have resulted in, I believe, a conviction less than the death penalty for Mr. Glossip.
You found these handwritten notes by the prosecutor that were never handed over to the defense as the law says they should have been. You say these notes cast real doubt on Sneed's credibility. Why?
Well, I think absolutely. I mean, Mr. Sneed, when asked, are you under any prescription, he goes, yeah, they gave me some Sudafed for a head cold. That's when the state should have stood up and said, objection, Your Honor, let me correct the record. He's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and been prescribed lithium. We did not do that. We failed.
And Glossip's lawyers, therefore, never knew that about Sneed?
That is correct.
Sneed avoided the death penalty by implicating Glossip. Is Sneed imprisoned for life without the possibility of parole?
Right. So we have justice. You know, the family, the victim's family, knows that the murderer of their loved one is in prison for the rest of his life. Now, this seeking the death penalty against Mr. Glossip sounds more of vengeance than justice.
The victim's family lawyer says, quote, it looks like the Attorney General wants to hop on a horse and ride to the rescue of a, quote, innocent death row inmate, unquote, and can't let the truth and the facts get in the way of that crusade. What's your response to that?
When I took the oath of office, I made a commitment to the rule of law and to seek justice. And since that day, I've been within 4 feet of the 7 death row convicts that we have executed in the state of Oklahoma. I am pro-death penalty. I am also pro-law. And in this instance, I do not believe that Mr. Glossip was afforded a fair trial.
You've paid a real political price for taking this stand, haven't you?
I am not popular among prosecutors or my colleagues, fellow attorneys general from the Republican Party, but that does not weigh on my decision. My decision is informed by the law, and it is my duty to uphold the law.
Gentner Drummond, you have a big day tomorrow, making an argument in front of the United States Supreme Court. Good luck to you, sir. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.